So let me get this straight. The very professor, Dr. Anya, who basically called us Akatas, foundational Black Americans, Akatas, and wished an excruciating, painful death on Queen Elizabeth II, who Jeff Bezos wants her out at Carnegie Mellon, is an African lesbian who was married to a man who definitely wasn't Black. But also, before she married him and had two of his babies together, she was living in Brazil with a woman, and before that, only exclusively dated men, but just realized after she married her husband and had children with him that she was indeed a lesbian. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have in our university school system, teaching our youth. That's a problem unto itself. No wonder she could call us Akata really comfortably. Her life is very, 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 very messy. And I'm not dissing her for being a lesbian. I want to make that clear. But what I want to say is, how can you, as a person who is a Black LGBTQ identified individual, call someone Akata when those very Black lesbians and gays paved the way for you as a non-foundational Black American be comfortable and safe into living in your true self? This is why I never liked people who were pretty much, this is just my opinion, and this goes back to my college days. I never, ever, ever really liked people who were foreign but was in the LGBTQ community. Not all were like that, but the majority of them were. Many of them did not like Black Americans. And it was a couple of us who were straight that had to basically check them. And this was on campus. They would use the word Yankee and say, like, I'm not no damn Yankee. Don't you ever call me a Yankee. But, bitch, you fled Jamaica because you was a lesbian. They was going to kill you. Okay? Then there was others who were, like Afro-Latinos who were gay. But they did not like Black Americans. Then you have your African men who was on the low, but they didn't like Black men. So all of us would check them and we like, hey, how you going to call Black people names like Yankees? Now, they wasn't saying Akata at that time, but they just was saying, Black Americans are stupid and lazy and dumb. But if it wasn't for those Black Americans who were basically LGBTQ back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, your ass wouldn't be able to be here and live the life and live in your true self, authentic self at that. And I think what it is with Dr. Anya, she's one of those people that deep down inside, she really don't want to be here because her lesbian partner is actually a Cameroonian. She's not white and she's not FBA. She's African. Now, here's my thing. When I was growing up, I was always taught that homosexuals were not in Africa at all. So my thing is, how did this happen all of a sudden? This is what I was thinking. And then somebody was like, well, they all learned this in Europe. When they went to Europe in school, this is when they was taught, they was exposed to this, and they got turned out. This is what people would say. And I'm like, okay, but you really can't let yourself get turned out. You really can't let yourself get turned out. Either you're that person or you're not that person. It's just one thing or another. Now, Uju probably thought she was bi, but I think that more than likely, I think she wanted to have a baby and she was trying to basically, live that conventional life. Maybe she got tired and wanted something new, but I believe deep down inside, she leaned more to being on the homosexual side of being bi, if you know what I mean, like same sex was more her thing in relationships than like heterosexual, if you know what I mean. But what I believe that many of the Africans who are now living in the US and Europe, I believe they always were gay. But what happened is that they left Africa because it is dangerous to be gay in Africa. With the exception of South Africa. It's the only country. And if you know the history of South Africa, like the movements there are similar to those in the United States. It's the only safe place for Africans. They can live, a lot of Africans from other places, other countries, they move to South Africa to be themselves. Because they know that if they stay in Nigeria, if they stay in the Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, if they stay in Kenya, I ain't going to even say it. So I think this is why Dr. Anya needs to be fired. Because you basically got into our space off of affirmative action, things that we fought for, and we welcomed you. And then you basically turned on us as a Nigerian, and you called all FBAs Akata. And I mean, it was nasty. But you want to wish death on the queen. Now, you can say what you want about the queen, but we never heard her use the word Akata. I never heard her use the word nigga. Now, she probably said it behind closed doors. We don't know. Maybe she never did. But we know you said it. So, if you ask an FBA person, they'll probably wish an excruciating death on you. More so than the queen. You understand? Be careful what you say. Be careful what you type. Be careful what you write. Be careful what you record. Because the internet keeps receipts. Don't believe me? Just ask Aries Spears. And on that note, I'm signing off. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend.